Good morning, everybody. It is Jamie back from a long day of traveling yesterday. I was actually on the road for 12 hours by myself, traveling back from a retreat that I went to with Painting Junkie. And it was in Arkansas. So I drove from Arkansas to Ohio yesterday. It was a long day. So I am still kind of waking up. My voice feels a little hoarse. I feel really dehydrated. But today, what I wanted to do was to give you a little show and tell of what we did at the retreat. And I have not even looked at day 20's journal prompt for the pumpkin a day, but that's what I was planning on showing an idea. So that will be real time. Haven't even looked to see what the prompt is. If you were in my Art Journaling 101 group and you have already looked at it, you may already know what it is, but I haven't even looked at it. I do apologize too that I tried to set a text, which I usually send if you're on my text list to get a reminder when I go live. That's really the only time that I send a text. I could not access the platform, the app that I use to send a text today. So you didn't receive one today. So thank you if you're showing up live. I see Sandy, I see Sue, see a couple of other people showing up live, because that tells me that you are an Art in the AM fan, because you know when I go live and you know what time it starts and everything without a text. So thank you for that. But I am not, maybe they're doing some maintenance or something on the website. I don't know. So I'm going to do a little show and tell of the 4 projects that we did. And I have 2 projects, 3 gifts that people gave to me. I'm going to show you those too, because they're just really cool. And then I'll show you an idea for the journal. Tell me if you have ever driven 12 hours in the car by yourself. It was a 10-hour drive time. I lost an hour because of time zone differences from Arkansas to Ohio. And then I stopped multiple times. There was like an accident, little traffic, construction kind of, so that, was a little bit too. So I think I calculated, I added on about an hour and 45 minutes or something like that, almost 2 hours from stopping and the traffic and all of that. So time difference, everything. So that was the first time that I've ever done that, ever driven by myself, but it was a very easy drive. 2-lane highways, not a lot of traffic, only one big city, which was St. Louis, and I kind of, was just on the outskirts of that. So it was a very easy drive, very beautiful. We were in a beautiful Airbnb that backed up to woods and had trails, and got to go see a waterfall. If you are not following me on my personal profile, that was really where I did more of the sharing of the photos and things that we did. So you can go over there and follow. So, Sue, you've done 12 hours that is incredible. I listened to a lot of music, a lot of podcasts, talked with a lot of friends. That was how and stopping just really broke it up for me. 8 hours each way. I've done about 7.5, I think, before this. Now, I will say one time, I think I was in my 30s, I did drive to St. Louis, which is about 6 hours for me, and then I came around and turned right back around, which was about 12 hours, right? So I guess I have done that before, but I was a little bit younger then. So, I don't know. So when we arrived at the retreat, we had a beautiful spread that Debbie Hightower, who hosts the retreat, she has a friend who has, oh yes, Sue, I had lots of snacks too. She has a friend that has a business called Kitchen Therapy, and she prepared all of our food. So we had a beautiful charcuterie, all kinds of different snacks and things when we showed up. So that was really good. And then afterwards, we did a watercolor project. And we got a little packet of supplies, ideas, and directions from Laura McNeely with McNeely Garden Studios. So she prepared that for Debbie's retreat. And Debbie is with Painting Junkie. If you do not follow her, she has been posting a lot about the retreat too. So you can go over and see on her page about that. Well, and before we even started the watercolor, we got a gift bag. And I was going to show you the gift bag. The gift bag had my name on it with this really pretty pink flower. And I have other things in the gift bag right now. I would say it was like a swag bag. It was more like a swag bag. And inside of the swag bag, I'm going to show you the things that we got in there. One of them was a 48 color watercolor set. And I want to show you this inside because I had never seen one that was like this. It had all of the colors painted on a piece of paper, so that was super nice. It came with a little pack of watercolor paper. It has a water brush where you keep the water in there, and it has the watercolor brush. Came with a pencil, another paintbrush, a pencil sharpener, and then 2 little sponges, and 48 colors. That was one of the things in our swag bag. The other thing that I will probably paint, maybe I'll paint this live at some point, was this wood piece all packaged up. Has the flowers in there and the little pieces, the wood pieces, I think they say, you belong among the wildflowers. I think that that's what those little words say. So you can rearrange the words wherever you want. You can put the flower pieces wherever you want. Hi, Lori. And that was one of the pieces that was in our swag bag. And I also got this little stand where it fits together like this. So it's got like a little plate stand that I can put that wood frame in. I think that those were all the things in, well, and an apron. We all got a Painting Junkie Retreats apron. And since I had attended a retreat last April, it was in April, I already had my apron. But the first thing that we did was a little watercolor card, and we did leaves. If you have never tried watercolor in general or watercolor leaves, I will just say that this is the easiest way to get just familiar with watercolors. And leaves, especially in the fall at this time of year, can be greens and oranges and yellows and reds and browns and, you know, any kind of colors that you really want. So we all kind of did our own versions of a couple of leaves on a little watercolor piece of paper that came with the envelope. So these are my 2 leaves that I painted, you know, a lot of the green where they're just starting to change. And I actually saw a lot of trees just like this, where the bottom part of the trees were more green, and then the top part were that really deep orange and the reds. And so, you know, a lot of these kind of colors. And then this one I did more like it was already changed. And everybody's were so different. I don't know if we got a picture of like all of them together, but it was so much fun to see everyone's versions of their leaves. This is actually the little piece of this was in the watercolor set. And it is a little set of watercolor papers. So it was a very nice set. And then some people practice on their papers too. It was an easy way to start the retreat, and, you know, very little cleanup or anything like that. And all of the leaves turned out so fun. Some people painted in the background. Some people did splatters. Some people did, you know, more of the little mark making. Some people overlapped their leaves. Like it was just a very easy and creative way to get started on the retreat. And the next morning, we started with probably my favorite project. And, you know, we kind of did, well, I don't know that one was fall related, but this one was one that Debbie had seen and she wanted to do. So tell me if you have ever done a project with resin. And while you do that, I'm going to take a drink of water. You know, whenever you're traveling, you have to drink a lot of water, but then that means you have to stop more often, right? So I tried to drink a lot of water yesterday, but I still feel like this bottle of water is actually almost gone. So I have done a couple of resin projects. We actually did one last year at the retreat. It's not something that I do where I teach anyone, where I've done a class or anything like that. I've just done it as part of, you know, somebody else's retreat, Debbie's retreat, a conference that I went to a couple years ago. So I've done some, and there are all kinds of different things that you can do with the resin. So this project that we did, we started with a wood piece, and I'm going to show you the other side, but it had a lip. So this thickness was the lip, and then it was like sunk down in. Sue, I get it. I understand the smell, and epoxy, kind of, that is very strong for me too. We use a particular resin that is very low odor, did not bother me at all. So there are alternatives now that are much better than they used to be. And I don't look for low odor art resin, and you would probably find what it is. So what we started with was we started painting first, and she showed a finished example of kind of an ocean scene, sand and water. And if you know me, I love the beach. I love the ocean. I love, well, the Gulf side of Florida is technically the ocean, but the water, just all of that, summer, that kind of what, like all of that. And we started with painting the background of the sand and the water and the waves and, and then we got to add pieces as we were adding the resin. So I'm going to show you what it was that I did and then explain to you. And I believe that Debbie has more of these that are different. Donna's on here, and she actually got to go to the retreat, and I got to meet up with her, which was so much fun to be able to get to meet her and talk with her in person and get to know her better. But we all had different items that we, Sue must have seen it with the starfish. So I actually used a starfish. I think, Donna, what did you use? The lobster. The lobster was so cool. There was a jellyfish. There was turtles. The turtles were really, that was the example that Debbie showed. So this is my painted and then resin piece with some added pieces to it. So this is, and I'll try not to have the glare on there. This was all painted. So I painted the water, the splashes, and I feel like I really want to have it this way. And the sand in the back here. And then, yeah, Donna did use the lobster. You can see the little emoji that she had. So the waves and all of that, I painted all of that in. And that was just so much fun to be able to get to do that. And then as we added the resin, well, I added some little stones, and way back in here, there's some little blue, like a dark blue sand. And you can probably see it right here. Like right in there was this dark blue, kind of like glittery sand. So put that on, poured the resin, drizzled the resin, and then as the resin is setting up, I was able to set my starfish down in there, and then these two little fish. And as the resin sets up, then it'll hold those items in there. So I think I might get a little stand for this. I could get something to hang it, from the back there. And yeah, Donna, I really love the combination of this one to do the painting and the resin, and it was very mixed media, right? So of course I love like all the different media. So this is probably my favorite project, and they were all so different. I believe that Debbie has a reel where we all kind of walked by with all of our projects, and I think she has individual pictures of the resin pieces too. So go over to Painting Junkie. You can see more of the photos. The other project that we did, I believe that same day, was foiling. And we did some foiling last year on a cap, and I have it sitting over here. And this year she wanted us to do it on denim and see, how that looked on denim. So some people brought jackets, some people there was one person that brought a purse, all different kinds of things. So I had this vest that I had already painted on the back. So I will show you the back I know it's backwards for you, but I painted the Create a Life That You Love on there. And then on the front, there were pockets. And I foiled these really pretty pink, and you can see kind of the reflection on there. And then I did this pocket over here too, with those beautiful, are those like poppies? It was such a fun project. And, mine, when I first started pulling the foil off there, didn't seem like it was going to adhere really well. But isn't that the fun of just creative things, that they look handmade because they aren't perfect? And that's what I thought was really fun about those projects. And the pink flowers kind of like went with, the pink that was already in there. Donna actually used that same foil in a very different way on hers with a stencil and flowers. And so they all turned out so fun. And we got some photos of those, and we went to the art museum that day, and a lot of people wore their foiled versions of, their denim, and that was a lot of fun. So we got to explore downtown Bentonville, and we got to go to the art museum, which was very unique in the way that it was built, and got to see lots of art, really. Lots of creative things, lots of little murals, just all kinds of different art, like in downtown Bentonville. Very, very cute little, just a small town feel to Bentonville, just like the downtown little area. So the last project that we did was burning, because that is what Debbie mainly does, is burns hats. So she actually gave to us, which was in our swag bag, and we got to pick our own colors. So I picked pink. I picked pink last year. That's mainly what I have. And we got to use the burning tools and pick what the image was that we wanted to do on the hat. So Dina says that she loves Bentonville. I should have asked you different places. There were so many little things to see and kind of just explore in the little town. The art museum, I know Donna did the walk from the art museum to downtown Bentonville and shared photos, and it was like this whole art trail. Very, very cool. So my hat I kept very simple, and it was fun to use the different burning tools that Debbie had and be able to try those out, because I only have one, and it was good experience for me to be able to use, a couple of different ones. So this is my hat that I did, and I did not even realize I wore pink. And then, so I did this little design and added this little spiral there, and then it says blessed on there. And I really like how it turned out. It was just very kind of clean and simple, and it is, just like a really soft suede feel to it. And I tend to wear more of a ball cap than I do like a hat, with a wide brim kind of thing, which are what Debbie mainly wears. The other couple of projects that I wanted to show you are the gifts really, that a couple of my friends got for me. While I was on my trip, I actually got to meet up with 3 people that were in the area. One of them is my sister who lives in Oklahoma, which is about an hour or so away from Bentonville. So I got to go and stay with her and her husband on Wednesday night. And my birthday is October 12th, and then her birthday is tomorrow, October 21st, just the reverse. And when I talked to her and asked her if I could come over, we kind of said, oh, we'll celebrate our birthday. So we went out to eat and, did that. And I brought her a little something. And then she got me I forget what she called it now, maybe a gurgle pot. This is a gurgle pot. And, it has like a little story on the little card that I hadn't even read yet. And, she said it was just something kind of interesting in the area. We actually went to a restaurant that was on the Grand Lake, and this little cup shows the Grand Lake. I'll have to figure out in there like where the restaurant was that we went to. Maybe it was in that little tiny, I don't know. But it's just like a little stemless, wine glass, and it's just like a nice little size. So here's the gurgle pot. And she showed to me, when you put the water in there and you pour it out, it like gurgles. And I want to show you how beautiful. Look at this. It is, I don't know if you can see the fish eye there. So it's, the tail kind of wrapping around and the fish mouth. So when you pour out the water, it gurgles. And she just thought that would be such a fun gift. I love look how pretty the blue is. So this was a gurgle pot that she got for me, and then the little Grand Lake cup. And I just thought that was so thoughtful and, specific to like where she lives. And so I thought that was so cool. One of the other ladies who was at the retreat is Tony Landis. I don't know if she is watching right now, with the Painted Roadrunner. That is her business name. If you're not following her, go follow her. And she went to a retreat a couple of weeks ago, and she did a resin project. And she said when she was doing this resin project, she thought about me and just thought that I would really like this. And I think it is just beautiful, and I can't wait to sit it out. I might actually just keep it out all year because it's the perfect color for our living room area and what we have in there. And it is more Christmas related, but I think it will be beautiful to sit out. So this is the Christmas tree that she made, and similar to how we did the project at the retreat this time, where we painted, did the resin, laid down all the things, did the resin in there. And that's what is securing all of these pieces, all these little shells, and, the base here and these little shells, and then the starfish at the top here, and the star in the corner there. So I just thought that was so sweet, and I love the color of it, and I can't wait to sit it out. So that was very sweet. And then my roommate actually at the retreat is someone that I knew, and her name is Jenny, and she is Jenny Roberts, and her business page is Art and Soul Studio, I believe is how you say hers. And she has been doing ceramics, and that was actually what I taught in high school when I was a high school teacher. And she made these little ornaments and gave one of these to me. and it has the fish on there, and it's all glazed, and I believe is the shape of Alabama, because that's where she lives. I think that it is. I don't know for sure. But I love the little speckles that are in there, and how the glaze, goes around the edges of the fish. So I will probably keep this out all year too, even though it's kind of an ornament. But I love the the colors aren't specific to a Christmas kind of color. So that was really sweet too. So I came back with a lot of things from the retreat, a lot of cool things. Still have the wood piece to paint, but overall it was fun to do all the creative projects. It was fun to get to hang out with this group of creative ladies and explore Bentonville area and the art museum, and we went to a craft show, and I got to see a waterfall, and all the different things, and just to prove to myself that I could make that drive back and forth was kind of a big deal for me. So I really enjoyed it. I love doing things like that where I get to see people in person and get to have conversations when you're all staying in the house together. Just like when I do my create retreats, it's a different kind of community and connecting than you could ever have if you go to a large conference where there are 150 to 200 people. Really, the only people that you may get to do that with is the person that you room with, that you might stay up late with talking and that kind of thing, or the person that you're traveling, to that conference with. And it's just a different experience when it's a smaller group, when you're in the same house together and you're getting to spend those couple of days together. And there's just really nothing like that. And that's why I continue to do retreats, to get people together like that and to have those kind of experiences. So super fun. And it was, it went by way too quick. It seemed like it went really quick. And all of a sudden I was headed back home yesterday. But I did take my journal with me. If you saw last week, I showed my little journal that I made that is chipwood pieces, and then I used brown paper to make the pages in the journal. I took it with me and I brought some supplies and things like that, but I didn't have a glue stick. My glue stick had dried up and I wasn't able to glue things into the journal. So today is the 20th and I am using the prompts, the pumpkin prompts that I put inside of my Art Journaling 101 group. And I just followed them right in order. Even though I haven't done every one of the days, I still follow in order and have a page kind of laid out. And what I thought of doing was labeling each one of the pages so that I knew. I haven't done that yet. But when I look, and like I said, I have not looked at today's. I have some supplies. I'm just going to use like what's around me right now. And day 20, I am looking, is a pumpkin border. A pumpkin border. So I am going to go ahead and count over to the pumpkin border. So it would be day 20. And I will show you. Oh, that one page there. Sometimes I feel like they get stuck together. Oh, that one did. Let's pull that apart. I did start kind of ripping some pumpkins and getting some ready. So I will go ahead and turn this down. And I'll show you. I really don't have that many pages in here. Oh, my stand is kind of moving around today. There we go. So I'll turn around this way. I have kind of done day 1, so I will finish up that one. This is day 2. I was kind of using some of the foil on here, just kind of wanted to get that like into my journal. So it's 2. I started a little bit. I was going to make maybe a pocket on there, And I'm going to do some more with this little pumpkin here. So that is day 3. I had got these little pumpkins ready for day 4. And these are little tiny pumpkins for day 5. Day 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Here is day 13. This is what I did last week with the pumpkin and this paper. So that's 13, 14, 15, 16. Should have these numbered. 17, 18, 19, and 20. So this is a pumpkin border. And what I'm kind of thinking is I would have a strip that then I would add pumpkins to. And if I look over here, or if I look at, I didn't bring any of my other papers over here. If I kind of look to see like what I have available over here. I have some of these polka dot papers over here. I have this polka dot paper. I'm kind of getting some ideas of polka dot paper. I have this blue envelope that I had saved because I like the pale blue on there. So I have kind of an idea with those. I have a little extra of this. And those are all the pieces of paper that I see that I feel like I want to use. So what I think I might do is kind of a border where there are squares, rectangles, pieces of paper kind of going around the edges, and then I will add pumpkins to them. So I'm just going to really kind of use these papers like as they are. So this could be, you know, a piece kind of on here, and like if I wanted to do this one, so I'll keep them about the same size. So I think I need to get some scissors. I took my scissors with me. Oh, I have some other papers in here. Let me show you. Oh, and here's some of my other papers. Maybe I'll use some of those. So I will kind of show you the idea, and I will probably finish it at another time. If you were following along with the pumpkin prompts, I do those in Art Journaling 101, and next month for November, we're going to be doing leaves. So I have started to collect leaves, and I wanted to show you this one that I collected while we were at the retreat house. If I can find it in here. I don't even know what kind of leaf this is, but I wanted to keep it. It's like this large leaf, and it was so pretty out on the balcony. So I wanted to save that, and I'll be able to use that for my leaf journal. So if you start finding some leaves right now that are so pretty that you want to use for your journal in November to do some leaf projects, I just kind of dry them, flatten them a little. Is it an oak, Dina? Thank you. And I just flatten them in here. And I feel like I had some papers in here that I also might want to use. So I'll kind of get it started. I have some of these orange papers. There's more polka dot papers. I kind of want to have the papers go together a little bit, so I'm gonna be a little bit selective about what I use here. I kind of like these kind of oranges and greens together. So maybe I won't use this one. Maybe I'll just kind of keep with these oranges and kind of the greens. But the oranges will not show up very well with the pumpkins. So these maybe, but not this darker orange. So maybe I will do a little bit more blue. So maybe kind of those three colors. I feel like those kind of all go together because they are, you know, kind of muted. I have another paper that I had painted while I was there, and that's the other page. I think it would be too dark though, but I don't know where it is right now. So I think I'm gonna use these here. But let me show you how I'm gonna get it started, and then I will finish it and post a photo of it. These came in like a pad of paper. That's why it has that little hole there for where it, you know, is hanging. So that kind of pulls off there. And this is one that I used some extra paint, I think, last week. So I'm going to do this border and use a little bit of that yellow. And it is just the right size for this paper. And then I think I'll do this one. And, you know, something like this where I have like this border going around. I don't know that I will actually keep them that length. I'm going to see what I have here, and then this one. And probably what I'll do, I'll have this border going around here, and I will add some pumpkins. And then in the center here, I'll probably do like a quote. Or, Donna said that she's collecting leaves. Yeah, it is a very big. Out on the back porch, those oak leaves were very big. And it did storm really bad on Saturday, and I feel like they were blowing around even more that day. Oh, that one made kind of like an interesting little point there. So have that over here. And I think that I'm just going to keep with these three because I like how these have the patterns on there. So I'm going to go ahead and if you are doing the pumpkin prompts or the leaf prompts or any of those, it's really whatever you want it to be. I didn't have an idea. I didn't even know that this was the prompt for today. And it wasn't like I saw an idea, you know, for this. I just kind of had these papers and wanted to use these. And I'm going to place these around like different places. I'm just trying to cut all of the pieces to kind of lay them out here, and then I'll show you kind of how I'm going to put them together. So that looks like that will be enough to cover, you know, all of the edges. So what I'm probably going to do, I have to get out a glue stick. I'm probably going to make them different sizes. So I might just have a lot of these more kind of like a patchwork kind of an idea, right? So I'll have all of these different ones and, you know, kind of mix up like where I put and I like the torn edges, so that's why I put this one underneath so that it covered up that straight edge there. And so kind of have like these patchwork pieces, and they will go all around, so it creates this border. And then inside of each one of these little spaces, then I'll put a pumpkin in there. So that is kind of my idea. And then I'll have all different sizes of the pumpkins and these pieces of paper. And I may have to end up, because I need another like little flowery kind of one over in here, so I may end up having to use other pieces just so that they work out in the right places, because I overlapped a little bit more. But so it looks like I need like one more kind of in there, and another one over in here too. So I'm gonna have like this patchwork kind of idea of these papers, and I'll add some little pumpkins. I may even have some pumpkin stickers I can put around in there. I may have some little cutout. I'm noticing this piece that I printed out. I may have little pumpkins like this that I could add onto there. I may just draw on some pumpkins with a Sharpie marker, but that is my idea for a pumpkin border. If you want more ideas for a pumpkin border, I do believe that there has been a post inside of the Art Journaling 101 group of all of my past journals from the past 4 years. So along with this idea, that would be 5 different ideas for you to create your own pumpkin border on some paper, on some canvas, on wood. Like, you can really create it on whatever it is that you want. And I do plan to put words in the center here. And I will, as I'm completing the other 19 pages, I will be posting those into the Art Journaling group. And then I will probably make a post of all of the pages as I get them finished in, here on my business page. So thank you for showing up today. Thank you that even though I didn't send out a text today, you showed up, you wanted to watch the little recap of the retreat. If you had been kind of paying attention, that's what I was doing. And then also this idea for the border for the pumpkin. So hi there, Mary. Oh, thank you for the stars. I see these in those too. Yeah, I haven't seen you on for a long time. So thank you for joining me. And remember, if you are on my email list, every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, I send out an email with the replay of this video that it goes to my YouTube. So I do have a YouTube channel where I put all of my videos from Facebook. So if you want to go over there and binge watch a lot of the videos that I do from Mondays for Art in the AM, they are on my YouTube. If you're not subscribing over there, just put YouTube in the comments and I will make sure that I get that link to you. But like I said, if you're on my email list, you will get it at 7 p.m. in your email tonight, the replay, and it'll go straight to over there on my YouTube. So thank you. Next week, I will be doing day 27 of the pumpkin prompts. But definitely, if you want to be inspired with seeing more ideas, get into Art Journaling 101. If you need the link for that, you can put that in the comments too. And be inspired by what you see other people doing and, just their ideas. And then Donna reminded me that this Thursday, if you are not in our Create-a-thon community, this Thursday we're doing an all-day event. I will be starting off at 11 a.m. I have not exactly shared my project that I'm going to be doing, but it will be mixed media. It will be fun, and you will be able to make it creative and make it your own. There will be 6 artists. We'll all be doing a different project. There are supply lists, there are ideas, there are free bonuses over there. So if you're not in that community, I will put the link here in the comments and up in the description so that when you're watching the video, you will see that, and join us on Thursday. There will be replays in there for 30 days, and you'll be able to watch those. It goes from 11 a.m. Eastern to about 5 p.m. Eastern. And we would love to have you over there. It's so much fun to share those projects all in one place, going all day, and just to get a lot of different ideas for being creative and maybe even making some gifts, who knows, for like the holidays, and kind of get a head start on that too. So thank you for showing up today, and my hope is that what I showed to you spark some ideas for you to be creative and make that time for yourself to just explore and experiment and to have fun. So I'll see you next Monday.